Okay, so good day, guys. This time, I will be doing a video lecture for topic 3 of Unit 1, still on the perspectives of the self, all different perspectives. And for this discussion, I will be focusing on the anthropological perspective. Okay, so anyway, the learning content was already shared to you. All you have to do is most probably substantiate what you have read on the learning content through this video lecture. Okay, so the first thing we have to, of course, look into would be the very term anthropology, because from that we could understand what it meant by anthropological perspective, particularly in relation to our understanding of the concept of self. Okay, so if you recall, I had actually given you a task, no, to which you are to call a picture of you and uh, your family members or anyone most probably significant to you, um, and explain how your significant others or how culture in general influence or had influenced the development of your character and your personality as a person. Okay, so herein we will be expounding on that. Okay, in fact, probably part of what we will be doing is to process that activity. Okay, in fact, I have checked your output and I could gauge that indeed your environment, your culture had a lot of influences in shaping your personality or in developing you as an individual. Okay, so here it says on the slide that your racial category, your family structure, no, the immediate environment you are accustomed with, no, of course, taking into consideration who are the persons that are around you or who are the persons that would compose your family structure, your ethnic affiliation, no? If you are in Itawis, in Ibanag, or in Ilocano, or perhaps in Ivatan, if you are from Batanes, no? Your customs and traditions, no? Not only in relation to the expression of your faith or your religion, your dialects, your language, your social beliefs, and values, no, how you express, no, your traditions and all that would include your worldviews, no, in relation to your belief and culture, no, all of these, no, unquestionably or indubitably, no, contribute on your formation as a person. Okay, and I think that is very dominant on your output, no, on task 3, the one to which you are to look and to, or you are to present a picture of yourself in relation to your family, and to which you are to expound on that, no, the role of culture in shaping your identity as an individual. Okay, so if we consider the concept of anthropology actually, if we are to look into its etymological definition, because that is what we usually do, no? Kapag sinabing etymological definition, ang ating titingnan o hihimayin ay yung salita mismo. And etymologically, the word anthropology actually came from Greek words, no? Anthropos, which means man, and logos, which means study or science. So if we are to take that definition, then anthropology is considered as the science of man. Okay? And what in particular about man that we study when we talk about anthropology, no? So it says here it is concerned about the various aspects of the human species, no? Irrespective of time and place, from the ancient period, no, to the contemporary or to the current period. Okay, so meaning to say, we are to look into how man has evolved as a human species, no, and we have learned from our history classes, no, or even in science about the different human species. No, if you recall, you have what? Ano ba yung mga classifications ng human species na meron tayo noon? Yung mga homo-homo, di ba? So, ano yung mga homo na alam ninyo, di ba? Ah, Homo sapiens, Homo erectus, Homo habilis, okay? So, as we move from one period to another, no, from one era to another, there are corresponding characteristics, abilities, or capacities of these species, no, and these are indicative of the kind of influences or most probably, impact of how time had contributed most likely to who we are as individuals, no? Particularly in relation to these characteristics that I am talking about. Okay, so moving further, anthropologists, no, the scientists who are interested in the study of anthropology are not only inclined to finding out, or they are not only interested about how humans have structurally evolved from from their animal predecessors, no? So what I mean is, if we are to look unto science, 'di ba? Ano ba ang turo sa atin ng science? Na tayong lahat ay animals. Human beings are considered as animals, and in fact, we are the highest form of animals, no? And if that is so, we are actually the our ancestors are what? The ano ba yung mga unggoy? Mga unggoy ba? Sabi nila, 'di ba? Um, we are descendants, no, of the Homo habilis, no? So, kung gusto nyong tingnan kung ano itsura ng Homo habilis, you can actually surf the internet, no? So, these are parang uh, ape-like ape-like structures, no, I mean species, no. So physiologically, no, we resemble that of an ape, no, and that's the very reason why science have actually considered us as descendants of apes. Our predecessors are animals, no. So this is not only the focus of anthropologists, but instead they are also interested on how we had transformed, no, um, uh, not only in terms of what we are capable of doing, but even in terms of culture and how we had adapt, no, socially as individuals. So they are also interested on how humans transform and how they transform into a culturally and socially adaptive beings. No, because remember in the past, no, our ancestors had led a nomadic life. Nomads, they are nomads. No, so what it meant by nomads is that they may live in groups, no? So usually by tribe yung mga yan. And they stay in a place where there is an abundance of resources, no? So ang ginagawa nila is they deplete first the resources, meaning to say they make use of the resources that are available on that place where they are currently residing, and then should there be later on, no, when they are able to exploit the resources and there were nothing else left for them to use, they transfer into another place where there is again what abundance of resources, no, that to which they could use to sustain them, no. So ganun yung buhay ng mga sinaunang tao, no. Ganun pa man, dahil sa mga development, sa mga technology na na-introduce, at dahil na rin sa transformation brought about syempre by learning and education, no? There had been what? There had been transformations and adaptations not only physiologically but also economically, socially, and culturally. Okay? Now, to more likely capture no, anthropological perspective, particularly in relation to our understanding of the self, we look into the phrase or statement by Kluckhohn and Murray. No, according to Kluckhohn and Murray, every man is in certain respects like all other man, like some other man, and like no other man. No, so ano bang ibig niyang sabihin dito? It speaks of the universality that we have, meaning to say there are characteristics that we share with other races, no? Irrespective of the race. Sabi kanina, irrespective of where we are and irrespective of the time and place, no? Meron at meron tayong mga similarities. Nag-evolve man, ibig sabihin meron mga transformation na nangyari, pero physiologically meron tayong similarities, no? Yan ay ah walang kinalaman ang ating race, no? Ibig sabihin, Filipino ka, Amerikano ka, Hapon ka, o anumang lahi meron ka, pare-pareho tayong merong physiological structure at irrespective of time and place nga, ay merong pagkakatulad. Ito yung sinasabi dito na sameness. There is the pre-contemporary um, the pre-contemporary view of human nature, which demonstrates sameness. No, there are in certain respects similarities that we share, respective of the race and irrespective of what era is involved. However, with this sameness, there is invariability. No, there seems to be there is variability rather. There seems to be uniqueness still. No, so amidst the sameness, the invariability, and the universality, no, there is still is what we call uniqueness or variability, no, of characteristics. And this, I think, is the very view of the contemporary anthropologists. So yung pre-contemporary or yung traditional anthropologists, they view humans as something that is universal. There are characteristics that we have which are universal. And ano yung mga yun? Yung body structure natin, pare-parehas tayong merong dalawang mata, meron tayong ilong, meron tayong bibig. So, magkakapareho tayo ng bodily structure. No? I mean, the composition, we actually came from cells, no? From the single cell, no? Which is shared by our parents. No? Meaning to say, physiologically, we are the same. No? However, of this physiology, there is still is uniqueness. No? Kaya nga, yung genetic endowment, magkakaiba tayo dahil magkakaiba tayo ng genes na pinanggalingan. At dahil doon, magkakaiba din ang ating mga characteristics, no? So this is the view of the contemporary anthropologists, and according to them, there is variability, no? And this variability is definitely because of the differences in terms of the cultures to which we are acquainted with or uh, to which we were exposed, no, when we were born. So ang pagkakaiba ng bawat tao ay hindi lang biological, no, kundi cultural din. At ito yung myth and gist ng anthropology, no, that the variations is brought about by the variability of cultures, no, and this I think is even captured by the anthropologists, by some known anthropologists. We have Catherine Ewing, no, who actually have viewed the self as something that is an integrative, no? And to this, she means that the self is something that encompasses the physical organism possessing all aspects of psychological functioning and social attributes. So, physically, magkakapareho man tayo, uh, galing tayo sa cell, no, ng ating mga parents, at with this physical structure comes uniqueness in us, because psychologically, as we function, there are differences as to how we show off our behaviors. And even in terms of our attributes, no, because we were exposed to different societies or to different cultures. And with that means that there are differences also on how we behave, no, on what we believe, no. So remember, magkakaiba ang kultura na nakagisnan natin, magkakaiba din ang pananaw, magkakaiba ang mga nakagawian, at dahil dito, mayroong pagkakaiba pagdating sa pag-uugali, pagdating sa um, beliefs at sa expression ng mga beliefs na to. Even Joseph Leduc, no, a neurobiologist, also have described the self as a totality of what the organism is, no, physically, biologically, psychologically, socially, and culturally. So kung merong paman dito sa kanilang pananaw, yun ay yung konsepto na ang pagkatao o ang personality, ang self, no, is something that is brought about by the society and the culture. No? In fact, if you recall, nung dinidiscuss natin yung sociological perspective, sabi natin, ito yung role ng society. Itong anthropological perspective naman, ini-invoke natin yung role hindi lang ng society, kundi ng culture. Okay? So, syempre kapag sinabi natin, ano ba ang culture para sa inyo? Okay? Ang culture ay isang comprehensive na context, no? Anong ibig mong sabihin, ma'am? Malawak ang sakop niya. Okay? Kaya nga, nung tinatanong ko kayo doon sa task 3 kung ano ang impact ng culture sa development ng self niya, actually marami kayong nasabi doon. Diba? So, yung mga pangalan yan, yung mga different customs and traditions, yung mga paniniwala, mga gawa, mga ginagawa o mga gawi, ibig sabihin yung nakasanayan ninyong gawin, no? Na impluwensya na as influenced by the people around you or by your community in general, no? So yun yung mga naipakita ninyo doon sa output ninyo, and dito makikita natin yung how holistic or how integrative your approach is, no, or how integrative it is that we must see the self, no. So kung titingnan niyo itong paradigm dito sa figure na pinapakita on screen, anthropology actually seeks to discover the interrelationships between the different models of human being, because our focus when we talk about the self, or when we talk about the anthropological perspective of the self, it's how we see the human being. And according to anthropology, we must see the human being holistically. Ibig sabihin, hindi lang natin titingnan yung physiological na structure niya, na siya ay merong dalawang mata, isang tawag dyan, dalawang butas ng ilong. O, hindi lang yung structure ang titingnan natin, kundi yung kabuuan. Hindi lang kasi daw physical system ang nagko-compose sa isang human being. Meron din siyang tinatawag na biological system, no? So again, we confer unto the body. psychological system, no, the functioning of the mind, the behavior, the mental processes, no, that is brought about, or that we talk about when we refer to the human being, but also the social and the cultural systems, no, that are involved, no? And hence we refer unto the influence of the society, the influence of the people around us, our immediate environment. And what does it mean by the immediate environment? No? It's the family, because the family is said to be the smallest unit of the society. Kung meron mang pinaka-immediate na environment, no, ang isang tao, ang isang bata, yun ay ang pamilya, no? So lahat actually ng mga paniniwala niya, no, halimbawa paniniwala ng batang yan sa edukasyon, sa kahalagahan ng edukasyon, syempre yan ay naiimpluwensyahan ng mga taong nakapaligid sa kanya, no? Katulad nga na nabanggit ko, ang pamilya. Okay? So, ang sabi dito, kapag sinabi nating anthropology or anthropological perspective, ito ang mga systems na kailangan i-consider. Hindi lang physical, hindi lang biological, hindi lang psychological, kundi sinasama din natin ang social at ang cultural. Okay? So therefore, when we talk about anthropological perspective, we actually consider the totality, the integrative perspective or view of the self. No? Now, since binabanggit natin ang culture, no? Kasi sabi nga natin kanina, one of the systems that we have to consider is the cultural system when we talk about how anthropological perspective sees the self or view the self, no? So what is culture? What is culture? I know that this is not the first time you will be, of course, hearing about culture, because in the past most probably you have this concept had been introduced to you, no? So culture is a very broad construct, sabi ko nga kanina, very comprehensive siya, and this construct actually covers so many, no, in terms of our life as an individual. When we refer unto how we dress up, kung paano natin ini-express ang ating sarili sa pamamagitan ng mga suot natin, ng mga kinakain natin, no? That's culture, no? So for example, Pavurulon Afi Festival, no? It depicts the culture of the Tuguegarauenos. And what transcribes, no? I mean, what happens during Pavurulon Afi Festival, or to whatever festival that we have in our community, for example, it expresses, no, the perspective, the beliefs of, or even what happened perhaps in the past, no, as we bring in our history as a community, no? So sabi dito, our cultural preferences, the dialect, no? The one that we use when we communicate, no? Kahit yung tone niyan, bakit kaya ang mga Itawes pag nag-uusap-usap sila, kahit malambing yung sinasabi, eh para silang nag-aaway? Because you see, that's um, how it is, no, in the culture of Itawes, no? So the dialect that we use, how we communicate, the festivals. Remember that the one that I mentioned about Pavurulon Afi Festival, no, even the religious belief, no, the customs, yung mga traditions, no, yung mga ginagawa, mga beliefs na ginagawa natin, no, the set of values that we actually observe, no, the one that to which we conform unto, no, these are all what included in that concept of culture. Okay? Sabi nga dito, even the books, the kind of books that we read, the jokes that we crack, all of these would talk about our way of life, no? As an individual, as a community. And all of these are part, no? These would actually form part of the culture to which we were raised, no? So, kaya nga nasabi nating malawak ang sakop ng kultura, O, ngayon, ang tanong ay, ano nga ba o paano kayo hinuhubog ng kultura? Paano kayo nahubog? Ang konsepto ba ng self, ang pagkatao ba ay naiimpluwensyahan din ng kultura, no? So, definitely, no? Um, Dahil ito ay passed unto us, no, by our elders, by our ancestors, no? So it is something that we have acquired or that we have learned along the process. Okay. Now, ang pinaka-isa sa mga um, halimbawa, konkretong halimbawa ng kung paano tayo naiimpluwensyahan ng kultura ay syempre what we do to our bodies or um, yeah, how we express art, for example, or even ourselves, di ba? Ang mga Gen Zs ngayon, ano ba ini-express ng mga Gen Zs ang kanilang pagkatao, no? Through technology, di ba? Um, you could see the fad, no, on social media, on TikTok, no? Ito yung mga hindi natin maide-deny na impluwensya ng um, the culture, no? I mean, social media, no? Because of course, what predominates in social media also speaks of the culture that we have, no? And in this context, no, anthropological perspective, the one that we actually highlight is uh, what we do with our bodies. Because usually, when we talk about the self, no, our reference would be our bodies. Okay, so what we do with our bodies would also, of course, speak of the culture that we have. No? Like, for instance, in the Philippines, no, I'm sure you know Apo Wangod. Some or perhaps a number of you, in fact, went to see her, no, in Buscalan, Kalinga. No, I could see some, no, who have what marks, who have been marked, who had been tattooed, not if not by Apo Wangod, by some of the ano yun, family members kasi 'di ba ang ginagawa niya may mga apo siyang tinuturuan. Ano? Siyempre apo sa tuhod. Apo ba sa tuhod o hindi kasi parang hindi based on history parang wala atang naging asawa si Apo Wangod. Ano? So um you see tattooing, no? I mean yung kasi she was known as the legendary Mamba Batok, no? A tattoo artist, no? So, Apo Wang-od, no? A very typical Filipino, in fact, and indigenous Filipino personality, no? Was known because of her being a tattoo expert, no? And tattooing, yung pagtatattoo, no? Yan ay expression, di ba? Um, hindi man siguro maintindihan ng iba o meron man sigurong negative um, ang tawag dito, parang prejudice. May mga prejudices man siguro tayo sa pagtatattoo, pero ito ay expression or ito ay art, no? At lalong-lalo na kapag ang pinag-usapan ay si Apo Wangod, definitely this is part of culture. Okay? So, in fact, may mga weird practices na ginagawa sa katawan, no? Sa bodies, different parts of the body. When we look into some weird practices, although weird sa atin, pero sa mga cultures na to, sa mga tribes na ito ay um, normal. No? Katulad ng kung sa mga taga Kalinga, yung mga taga kasama sa tribo, yung But-But tribe, no? Ni Apo Wangod, ang pagtatato ay normal. It's part of the culture. Okay? And there are meanings actually of what is being tattooed, no, by Apo Wangod, di ba? So, um, the thing here is that we do this, those who subscribe into tattooing, we do this as an expression of the self. No? So whatever is your motivation of getting tattooed, kung meron kayong tattoo or whatever, no, marking in your bodies, whatever is your motivation, definitely, I'm sure part of the reason is that this is an expression of the self. Like, for example, kailan ba kayo nagpapatattoo? Katulad ng yung mga nagpapa-cut ng hair, may mga reason ba kayo pag na-heartbroken ba kayo nagpapa-cut kayo ng hair? So whatever is the reason, no? Definitely this part of the reason would be um you expressing that this is one of your self-expressions. Okay? So we also have what tribes in Africa, particularly, no, tribes in Africa, no. For example, we have the Mursi tribe, no. This is in South Ethiopia, Africa, to which they practice lip piercing, di ba? May mga ilan sa ating mga Pilipinos na, nagpi-pierce, ear piercing, ear piercing. Anong ibig mong sabihin, ma'am? Yung hindi lang panghikaw ang butas ng kanilang tenga, kundi pang malalaking para bang plate, no? Kasi ginagawa din sa Morsi tribe, pero hindi sa tenga kundi sa lips, no? Alam niyo ba ang ibig sabihin ng lip piercing, no? 'Di ba, nag-ear piercing tayo. Sa mga iba, hindi lang iisa ang butas ng kanilang tenga. Meron yung pinupuno nila ng hikaw yung earlobes nila, no? Sa atin, expression yon, art siguro yon, or ano man ang dahilan. Definitely, one would boil down into self-expression as a reason. So, sa Mursi tribe, yung kanilang lip piercing, no, is usually what? Done by women. Okay? So, bakit sila nagli-lip piercing? Ah, well, this is an expression of beauty for them, no? Um, Especially among women. No? Uh, Tawag dyan, uh, this is this involves actually uh, profound lip and earlobe plates, no? So hindi lang pala sa lips, pati rin pala sa earlobe. Anong ginagawa nila? Nilalagyan nila ng wooden plate, no? Kung mapansin niyo yung mga malalaking nilalagay, binubutas at nilalagay dyan sa kanilang lips, that those are wooden plate, no? So, um, what is this for? Anong ginagawa, no? So, usually this is done by teenagers, no? Mga batang mga nagdadalaga, yung mga nagdadalaga, no? Bakit? Para sa kanila, ito daw ay ito ang perception ng kung ano ang maganda, no? So, this may be very different kasi sa atin, ano bang standards natin ng beauty, no? Sa kanila kasi ito yung kanilang standard ng beauty, no? So, especially for unmarried girls, no? Para bang this is their way to invite lads. Ano yung lads? Yung mga nagbibinatang lalaki, yung mga nagbibinata, no? So, they actually go through the painful process of um, putting on a wooden plate in their lips. Okay lang yung sa sa tenga eh. Okay lang ba kapag malaki yung yung pierce sa tenga? Parang mas tolerable kumpara kung sa labi mo ilagay kasi syempre that would be a hindrance when you eat, 'di ba? Masakit 'yan pag kumain kayo. Kung yun na nga lang naglalagay kayo ng braces masakit isang ngipin yun. Di how much more kung sa labi nyo ilagay. Okay? So, para sa mga Mursi tribe, no? This is what they this is what they usually do for last yung mga nagdadalaga, especially when they reach a certain age, no, usually at age 15 or 16, they would actually they would may mga tinatanggal diyan pa nga na teeth, no, tinatanggal yung teeth kasi syempre sa habal kapag nilagay mo yung lip plate, no? So they actually would undergo that very painful process, no? Because they wanted their lips to be stretched, no? So again, what for? Kasi yun yung parang pampachacha kung nakaitawid, no? Like that's their way of inviting some lads to court them. Parang yun yung kanilang pamamaraan para makapang-akit ng mga binata. Okay? Kasi para sa kanila, yan ay simbolo ng kagandahan. No? That's a symbol of beauty and identity. No? So this is practiced by the Mursi tribe. Okay? Then we also have the Karen tribe. No? Okay, so this is also in Thailand, no? Anong ginagawa naman nila, no? Um, this is elongation, neck elongation, no? So anong ginagawa naman ng mga Karen tribe, no? So ito yung tinatawag nilang neck ring, no? They actually put on a metal brass on the neck, no? Ah, para intentionally ay humaba yung leeg, no? Bakit? Para saan, no? Ah, well, for them, this again is what? A practice, no? And um, tawag diyan, not only it's a cultural thing, no? It's a tradition, no? And this tradition actually is observed as early as childhood years of the woman. Okay? So anong ginagawa nila? They actually put on heavy brass rings on the neck. Okay? At ito ay dumarami. Ito ay dumarami. Habang lumalaki yung bata, nadadagdagan yung number of neck brass o yung neck ring na nilalagay. Okay? So, um, para saan? Ito again ay ang kanilang pamamaraan para ma-express ang kagandahan. So, at a young age, no, they were on the the neck brass or the neck ring. Okay, so usually at early childhood or at childhood stage, no, at age 5 to 6, they do this, no, um, practice, no, and the current tribe or the Kayan girls, no, ito usually yung tawag sa kanila, no, are practicing this, no, to show beauty. This is how they express beauty, no? So if you are to do some readings on the history of the um, current tribe or those who practices the neck ring, no? Tradition. Okay? So para sa kanila daw ay these are not only expression of beauty but there are also some cultural reasons, no? So um some of the reasons most probably has to do with intertribal warfare, no? Kasi this is their way daw, one way for these young girls to be protected, no? Particularly from no? So alam niyo na kung meron mga tribal warfares, no? Siyempre ang ina-attack diyan ay yung mga um, younger, yung mga vulnerables. At para hindi na maka kumbaga makapagpalahi, para hindi dumami yung lahi ng tribe na yan. Syempre ang ina-attack nila ay mga girls kasi sila yung nagbubuntis, no? So ah yun na nga daw, ang paglalagay daw ng metal brass ay isang paraan para ma-safeguard yung mga young girls. Okay? So it's aside from it's a symbol of beauty and power, no? It's their way of protecting themselves, no? Particularly during intertribal warfares. Okay? Now, we also have, again, apart from the practice of tattooing, no? Uh, as laid down in the previous slide, involving the But-But tribe of Apowang-Od. We also have the Bagobo people in Mindanao, particularly in the coastal part of Mindanao, who practices filed or blackened teeth, no? Although hindi na daw based on what I have read, no, in some um, um, literatures, no? Ito daw ay ah, mga sinaunang nakagawian o practice, no? Um, kumbaga parang nag-fade away na or hindi na ito ginagawa daw sa kasalukuyan, no? Kasi syempre because of some health concerns or reasons, no? But um, as for some traditional practices, no, we have teeth filing, di ba? Kung tayo ngayon, ang ginagawa natin in nail filing, nagne-nail file tayo when we clean our nails, no? So the Bagobo tribe practices teeth filing, no? As what? This is a passage as a right, RITE, no? To a practice, no? Tradition, no? Um, na indicative na ang ah, isang batang babae ay tumatawid na sa pagiging dalaga, no? So it's a rite of passage for young adults who are reaching puberty. No? So kumbaga parang yan ay palatandaan na ikaw ay nagdadalaga na pwede ka ng kasi 'di ba ano ba ang puberty when we have our menarche, our first menstruation. So that is an indication na ikaw ay nagdadalaga na pwede ka ng mabuntis or siguro in the past, no? Pwede ka ng palahian. Parang ganun 'yon, 'di ba? So there is a beautifying procedure, no? There is a procedure, no? Um to which what? To which you are what? You are to file the teeth, no? Filing of the teeth, no? Um, ano ba yung filing of the teeth? Yung parang, ano ba yun? Alam niyo yung kailangan maging ano siya, pointed siya. Gagamit kayo ng, ano ba yun? Yung parang, kukuskusin mo siya para maging pointed siya. Okay? Tapos, ang isa pa ay blackening them with a paste, no? Which is made up of what? Bamboo, charred bamboo or powder, no? Ah, ito ay kumbaga parang ah, hindi naman toothpaste, no? Pero meron yung tinatawag na top A. Top A, parang made from a charred bamboo, no? Alam mo yun, yung parang sinunog nila na bamboo, no? O powderized na bamboo, no? So, this marks the transition from adulthood, no? So there is already a transition from childhood to adulthood. Okay? So, as to kung ano ang purpose, meron daw itong aesthetic significance, no? So this for them signifies beauty, no, maturity, I mean sexual maturity or physical maturity, and readiness for social integration. So pwede ka ng palahian, pwede ka ng ligawan, pwede ka ng asawahin, mga ganun ba? Okay? So, meron pang, ayan, may mga extreme body modification rituals. You could actually watch this, no, on YouTube. No? I have included it in here a link, no, to which you may want to watch what other um, what other practices. In fact, I can show you some other practices kasi I think I have sent to you the PDF copy, no, of the anthropological learning content in anthropological perspective. At parang na-mention din dito yung mga iba't ibang yan, mga iba't ibang ay wala na, no? Pero ano pa ba ang mga pwede nating isama dito? Yung um meron yung foot binding, 'di ba, sa mga Chinese, no? Foot binding, hindi ata nakasama dito, no? So, meron tayo nung foot binding, no, ng mga Chinese, no? Anong ginagawa sa foot binding, ma'am? Ah, meron silang parang ginagamit na um, enclosed shoe, no? The foot binding tradition, no? Actually, yung parang lotus fit, para sa kanila kasi ang mga ang magandang dalaga daw o magandang a woman who is beautiful has lotus feet, no? So, um, ano yon, parang minomodify nila yung itsura ng paa, no? Para kumbaga parang maging club foot. Hindi naman club foot, yung kasi yung club foot deformity yun eh. Pero para sa kanila kasi kapag meron kang malalotus fit, alam niyo yung tsura ng lotus, 'di ba, na bulaklak, no? So kapag ang paa mo daw ay malalotus, no? At kumbaga meron kang sinasabi sa komunidad, no? Kasi ang lotus fit daw ay expression of beauty and status in the community. Okay? So, para sa kanila, ah, ang kapag na foot bind, no? Yan daw ay kumbaga parang um, you are from an affluent family, no? So siguro kailangan nating isama dito yung foot binding, no? Okay, so um, ano ba yung practice ng foot binding? Saan ba nagsimula ang foot binding? Okay? Siyempre sa mga tinan natin. I don't know if uh, what I am what I am searching on the internet. Yan. So China yan ha. What I am yan. So ganyan oh yung tsura oh. So I don't know if you are if at the same time this is also shown to you while I'm doing this video lecture, but I am now to include it on the PowerPoint so that you can also include it, no? So what we do unto our bodies also, no, part also of the tradition is on foot binding. Okay, so again, as I mentioned, no, the concept of foot binding is or had originated in or actually is practiced in China. Okay? So, um, uh, foot binding tradition. No? So, again, um, what for is this? It signifies beauty and status. Okay, so those who actually would do no foot binding or would practice foot binding, no, are those who came from elite families, no. So um uh, again, this is practiced in China. Okay? So, um, ano pa ba? Yung rhinoplasty, I think rhinoplasty. Hindi ata, ano yan, uh, hindi ata, hindi na include dyan. But I am to include it. no? So, rhinoplasty, okay, rhinoplasty, the concept of rhinoplasty actually originated in Iran, no? So, ano ba yung rhinoplasty? Alam nyo naman siguro ang rhinoplasty, guys, di ba? So, ang rhinoplasty is when you undergo a procedure, no, that is parang plastic, ano ba yan? Ano ba yan? Work ng plastic surgeon, no? Um, in fact, rhinoplasty, if you um, would read some literatures, no, uh, rhinoplasty is of course undergoing a nose procedure, no? So, um, ano yung nose procedure, ma'am? Uh, Kapag nagpa-opera kayo at nagpatangos ng ilong, yun lang yun, no? So, ang rhinoplasty is a surgical procedure, no? To reshape the nose, no? It's a surgical procedure to reshape the nose. So, um, rhinoplasty actually um, have started, no? Of course, in the ancient civilization, no? But if we look into the rhinoplasty capital of the world now, is it Iran? No, it's Iran actually, no? The rhinoplasty capital of the world is in Iran or Iran. No? You know what it I'm sure you have heard of Iran as a country, no? So, um, yan. In Iran kasi, ang rhinoplasty, guys, ay symbol it's a status symbol, no? So, um, syempre, ang mga nag-undergo lang dyan ay yung mga um, tawag dyan, merong pera na pang ano, pang paopera, no? So, uh, as to why there is rhinoplasty, again, it's for beauty, no? So, para sa kanila, one who undergoes the knife, one who actually would undergo or would be willing um to undergo the procedure, the surgical procedure, no? Um, it's for the enhancement of one's beauty, no? So ang reason diyan ay for aesthetic, no? For aesthetic uh, aesthetic reasons. Aesthetic and status symbol din, no? In fact, no, in fact, no, um, yan. So, I am now including it in the PowerPoint, no, for reasons along aesthetic and status symbol. Okay? So, again, when we talk about rhinoplasty, ang ano niyan is in Iran, or in Iran. No? So, Iran is known as the rhinoplasty capital of the world. Okay? Yan. So, uh, mura ba dun, ma'am? Siyempre hindi. Costly, no? Kaya usually, ang mga surgery ay yung mga merong sinasabi sa society, no? So kapag ginawa nila yan, yan daw ay parang indikasyon na sila ay mayaman at in fact, pag nagpa-rhinoplasty daw sila, kahit nag-heal na yung sugat sa ilong, hindi nila tinatanggal kasi gusto nilang i-show off. No? So they wanted to show off unto the community that they came from affluent or well-off families. That's why they don't remove the ano bang tawag doon, bandage, yung bandage na ginagamit, no? Kasi for them, that's a status symbol. Okay? Ano pa ba yung mga uh, body modification rituals, no? Siguro as we proceed, uh, let me just share it na lang para we are oriented. So these are mga extreme body modification. Ano nga body modification? Yan. So tattooing. Okay. So ear piercing. Meron yung ear piercing na yung made up of elephant tusk. No, yung ear piercing. Tapos, sige, tingnan natin. I'm not so sure if it's in Africa also. So, yung mga ear piercing ba yun or lips? So, sige. Siguro from time to time we could think of, or you may prefer watching the what do you call that, um, video as per the link that is here. So, merong link naman dito. Tingnan nyo na lang kung ano mga pwedeng maidagdag na extreme body modification rituals. No? So far, yun yung mga maliban sa mga meron kasing mga tribes din still in Africa, no, or in some tribes, no, in no, kasi mga African tribes talaga ang gumagawa dyan, no? Yung talagang sinasadya nilang sugatan ang kanilang skins para merong parang gadbil. Din alam niyo yung gadbil sa Itawis, no? At pag natuyo yun, no? Para sa kanila that's an art. That symbolizes beauty, no? So far, you just acquaint yourselves of these um, bodily modification rituals, no, that are practiced, no. There are so many in the world, no, weird practices, but um, what this tells us about is that culture, yung mga traditions natin, yung paniniwala natin kung ano ang maganda, kung ano ang appealing, no. I recall there is also yung in Mauritania, merong place na ang tawag ay Mauritania, no? It's a country in Africa, no? So in Mauritania, ang ginagawa nila is yung body fattening. Alam niyo yun, parang ginagawang baboy ang mga batang babae na at an early age, dinadala sila sa isang farm. Tapos, pinapataba sila literally, no? Tapos, kumbaga parang sa culture kasi na yan o sa community na yan, ang appealing para sa kanila ay yung mga matataba. So, literal na talagang pinapataba yung mga babae dahil the heavier, the fatter parang the more beautiful you are. So that is a country in Africa. It's called Mauritania, no? So again, may mga health concerns or issues diyan. Kaya ito ay mga ancient yung mga ginagawa in the past, no? Kaya more likely meron na rin nag-evolve na rin ang mga paniniwala ng mga countries na yan o ng mga communities na yan. Okay? Now, this I think is one of the tasks that I will be asking you to do later on. However, I would want to explain on the concept of the self as something that is embedded in culture. Okay? And this is in relation to the idea of myth that, well, uh, myth ba? George Herbert mid, no? So the meaning that we ascribe to ourselves, no, of course, are influenced by our culture. How we characterize our identity depends on the roles that we actually portray in the society. Okay, so for example, I am your teacher at the same time. I am a faculty in the College of Human Kinetics. I am an employee of CSU. However, with these roles that I have as a teacher, as an employee, as a colleague of my co-faculty members, no, I am at the same time a daughter, a mother, no, a tita, no, a wife, no. So I have many hats. I have many hats. I have many roles to assume in the society. And with these roles come different identities or characters. No? So I can be tough as a mother, but I can be very kind or considerate as a teacher. No? um, Either way, I am a responsible individual because definitely these roles entail responsibilities. No? So I can be very understanding as a teacher and as a parent. So I can be a very generous daughter. No? But of course, as a teacher, there can be limit as to my generosity, particularly when it comes to how objective I should be in giving grades, no? So, ang pinopoint ko lang dito ay sa bawat role na meron tayo, merong mga mga ibang characteristics o katangian, no? Hindi ko sinasabi na multiple ang identities natin dahil multiple ang roles natin. Pero this is the beauty of these roles, no? These are intertwined into the characteristic or the self that we have. Okay? So take into consideration itong concept ng moi and personae ni Marcel Mauss, one of the anthropologists that we are to discuss in this topic. No? So Marcel Mauss is a sociologist and anthropologist. No? Pasensya kayo, yung bahay namin malapit sa daan, kaya maingay kapag may mga dumadaan na tricycle. Okay? So, Marcel Mauss actually used the terms moi and personae to refer about his notion of the self as a cultural category. So, para sa kanya, ang person daw is a category, is a cultural category. So, in short, product tayo ng culture natin. At para sa kanya, merong dalawang terms, moi and personae. Moi refers to the concept of the self and personae refers to the concept of the person. So ano yung categories na to? No? So the person is, according to Marcel Mauss, considered a cultural conception or a category of a particular community, no? So as a category or as a social or a cultural category, the person is said to be socially and culturally constituted. Okay? And that means we don't have the essence of the self without us being characterized using our society, using our culture as our reference. Kumbaga, mas nagkakaroon tayo ng essence, mas nagkakaroon ng essence yung identity natin kapag tinitingnan natin yung yung kultura at yung komunidad na kung saan tayo nang gagaling, no? So, bakit kaya siya ganito? Bakit siya ganyan? No? Kasi, again, babalik tayo, anong klaseng environment, anong klaseng culture, anong klaseng society siya nang galing. Okay? So, yun yung pinopoint ni Marcel Mauss. At dyan, ang gamit niyang terms ay moi, or the concept of the self, and personae, or the concept of the person. Okay? Either way, moi man o personae, tayo ay cultural or social categories. Ang pagkakakilanlan natin ay syempre nakadepende o malaki ang ambag ng komunidad at ng kultura ang meron tayo. Okay? Another person who have expounded on the self as a cultural, as brought about by anthropology is Harry Triandis. No? So para sa kanya, ano naman ang gamit niyang terms? The private, the public, and the collective self. Okay? So according to Triandis, there are three aspects of the self. Okay? And what are these? As I mentioned, private, public, and collective self. So the private self are cognitions that involve traits or states or behaviors of the person. From the word itself, private. No? Yung sarili kong pagkakakilanlan base sa kung paano ko nakikita ang aking sarili. Ano ang tingin ko sa aking sarili? So, tingin ko ako ay responsableng tao. Tingin ko ako ay um, um, tawag dyan, mapagmahal. Ako ay outspoken, blunt, ibig sabihin kung ano, I say what I think, no? I say my mind, no? So kung ano yung naiisip ko, kung anong tingin ko sa'yo, kung anong dapat gusto mong marinig o kung anong gusto kong sabihin, yun ang sinasabi ko, no? So that is how I see myself. Yun, yung private self. Ang private self is how the self sees itself, no? Ang public self is how other people think about me. So these are the cognitions of the generalized others. So the public, the general public, what does the general public has to say about me? No? So people think, no, my community thinks, no, that I am, for example, what? No, that's public self. Ang collective self ay significant others or a group of individuals, usually yung mga nakakakilala sa'yo. Your family, your co-workers, no? So these are the cognitions concerning the self that is um, brought about by a collective or a group of people. Okay? So how my family, for example, how my coworkers, how my employers look at me, this is the collective self. Okay, so I think it's this perspective on the anthropological view of the self is up until this slide. So I'll be giving a task in your respective GCs. You just await of the details of the instruction. So thank you for reaching this far, this part of the discussion. I hope you were able to learn something. Should you have questions, we will be doing a wrap up anyway in our face-to-face class or later when we will be meeting face-to-face. So thank you. I think I have to end it here. Okay.